Before I begin, I want to give out a warning. I will try to review this game as calm and collected as possible, because this game
aggravates me.
And right out the gate, my honest opinion for Forspoken is not worth it. Save yourself the trouble of buying this game for $70 or $95 for the deluxe edition and watch this video instead. However, if by morbid curiosity or any other reason you still want to play this game and see for yourself, you have been warned. Be my guest. Now, Forspoken is a new IP or intellectual property published by Square Enix, home of such classics like the Final Fantasy series, the Dragon Quest games, Parasite Eve, the recent Valkyrie Elysium, and much more, and it was developed by Luminous Productions, a new team of developers comprised of people who worked on Final Fantasy 15. And that's it. Forspoken is the debut title for this team of developers. And you know what? That's nice. A new team of developers got together and they put their game out in the world. If there's a next time though, please make a game that doesn't make me take my PlayStation 5, throw it out the window, then smash it with a hammer and burn it with a flamethrower. Then I'll tie it to a rocket so it shoots out in the sky, and then when it explodes, all the debris falls in the heads of the people. That way they can feel my hatred and ire towards this cool as a cucumber. Let's just get on with the game, shall we? Let me start with the positives. You see, when Forspoken was under development, it was known as Project Athia, and its development was done for the purpose of showcasing the graphical capabilities of the PlayStation 5, and included features like ray tracing for top-notch lighting effects, and a very large map that is home to tall structures and beautiful scenery. And yes, the game delivers on that. The world of Athia is a visual marvel. The valleys, the mountains, the ruins, the creatures that inhabit it, the magic and its effects to surrounding areas, and much more made me want to explore the world to completion and find all the landmarks, monuments, and labyrinths that were scattered all over Athia. The other positive thing that I'll say about Forspoken is that it has some unique RPG elements in the gameplay. It has the usual level up and get points to spend on new skills and upgrades, but you can also revert some skills to regain the mana you've spent back, and you can even complete challenges for each spell and upgrade to make the protagonist stronger. The equipment portion is also something I haven't seen before, where the only things Frey equips are a cape, a necklace, and, get this, nail designs. Yes, you heard me right. Nail designs. Like, I've heard of tattoos or runic symbols or even paper charms, but nail designs are something new and it's unique and it's kind of cool. The cape is the standard affair where health and defense are increased mainly, but can sometimes boost magical powers. Necklaces, however, boost magical powers mainly, but can increase health or defense sometimes. These two can also be upgraded with a good variety of passives that you can choose and interchange whenever you can at a crafting table. Nails are a little different though. Each nail design provides a predetermined set of passives that can be mixed around or matched for both hands to get different kinds of boosts for Frey. The interesting part is that most, if not all the equipment, can be found by exploring the world. Some can be purchased with old coins found all over the world in chests, so technically you still have to explore to get these things and buy the other capes, necklaces, and nails. And that, my dear viewer, are the only nice things that I will say about this game. Now things will go downhill with its story and its protagonist, Frey. The story begins in a courthouse where Alfred Holland, or Frey, an orphan who was abandoned at the Holland Tunnel in New York, is being tried for grand larceny. The judge, giving her an opportunity to do the right thing, sentences her to do community service and lets her go. On her way back home, Frey is assailed by the thugs she works with and is threatened to comply with stealing a car that Frey was supposed to steal for their boss, but manages to give them the slip and run away from them. She arrives at the apartment that she is squatting in and talks to her cat Homer about her escape plan and the desperation she has to leave New York for good.
I just can't wait for clean air, bright skies. No more chases, no more cops, no more fights.
Keep this in mind, this is relevant for my rant later. As Frey sleeps, she is suddenly awakened by the smell of ash as her apartment burns along with the money she was saving. Frey escapes with Homer. She then gives Homer away to keep her safe, visits the Holland Tunnel, and a surge of magic calls her attention. She notices a bundle of bracelets in a closed shop and goes to take a look, and when she does, the bracelet begins to shine, transporting her into another world. Scared by the bizarre situation she is in, Frey attempts to make sense of what is happening when the bracelet begins to talk to her. After witnessing the terrifying visage of a dragon, they have a conversation about their current predicament. Cuff, the sentient bundle of bracelets, doesn't remember much of who or what it is, but it knows that they are in Athia, a land ravaged by a force of corruption, and is ruled by the four Tantas, women of exceptional gifts and magical prowess. As they proceed, Frey encounters a corrupted creature which she dispatches with magical power granted to her by Cuff, survives a wave of corruption energy, and fights the dragon, all the while congratulating herself for doing these things. Yeah, sure, you've had this power all along. After her encounter with the dragon, she stumbles upon the city of Sepal, where she is detained and taken to the Council of Sepal to pass judgment on her life, all because she survived the corruption. Okay, so from here, the story becomes uninteresting. So I'm gonna go into rapid fire mode to save you from the boredom and to save myself from losing my patience. Frey is incarcerated. Girl named Auden breaks her out in exchange for a favor and she agrees. Frey befriends an orphan. Frey finds Auden's father. Tanta Sila ravages Sepal in search for Frey as she fights a wannabe mini-boss. Orphan Frey befriended was caught in the crossfire and died. Frey vows revenge and decides to kill Sila. Pointless side quests. Reading! Oh no, the Tantas are responsible for the corruption. Oh. Go to Praenos Castle, kill Tanta Sila, acquire her powers, lessen the corruption in Praenos, and have barely to no character development for free! Let's talk about the story. Can you tell why I said Forspoken is not worth it? Nah, that's fine. I'll talk about this regardless. The story is a massive pile of I'm trying. The story of this game is uninteresting. The pacing of it is incredibly slow as it took me more than half of the game. Yes, half of the game for something interesting to happen, only for that to offer nothing substantial to it. What's worse is that the first half is nothing but horrible padding that fails to elaborate on Frey's predicament. Sure, we can see how Frey was transported to Athia, but there's no explanation on how the portal, the Torana opened. No explanation on why Sila was looking for Frey other than, she invaded my realm, meh. And Cuff continues to be a vague mystery that nothing is known of still. Not even a hint. The story failed to draw me in from the beginning as the key plot points had very little to no impact to it, making me lose interest right away. The characters didn't do any better, on the contrary, they made the story what it is and worse, and it's all thanks to Frey. Our protagonist is just a bundle of... Man, I can't even come up with something sarcastic to say. Frey sucks! Her entire character concept is just terribly executed. Main character with a criminal record looking for redemption? She does absolutely nothing about it as she does not want to do anything remotely heroic or good. She just looks out for her own gain. Protagonist looking to escape from her terrible predicament for a better life? Sure, Athia is not the place for a fresh new start given its current situation. But between being an Athia with what she wants and magical powers, or being homeless, broke, and chased by thugs who were out to kill her, you would think she would pick the former. Well, guess she can't live out with her internet access. Unlikely heroine of the story has an attitude unseen in this world. Saying the words and nearly every time she talks or expresses herself is not having attitude or sass. It just makes her look like she has nothing to contribute to any conversation and have a personality that is as deep as the kiddie pool. The other characters don't help much either. Cuff is this wannabe, witty, sentient bracelet whose origin will remain a mystery and is not really the voice of reason for Frey, as it is more like the voice of common sense. Auden and Robian are just there to progress the story one dumb way or another, and although I haven't seen the other Tantas, if they are anything like Scylla, then they are as basic as villains can ever get. As for the remaining NPCs, Maker above, they are so generic and so dull that Athia might as well have no inhabitants. It's a bit mean to say, as there was some attempt at giving life to them, but this feels like it was forced. It doesn't feel natural, and world building is more of a chore rather than a fun distraction. All of this brings to light a painfully obvious issue the game has. The story, for the half that I played, the characters, and the world are boring, uninteresting, and uneventful. But what about the gameplay? Could that salvage this otherwise boring game? Damn it, no. Alright, let me clarify. The gameplay is okay, and it functions. I mentioned earlier that as Frey levels up, she gains mana, which she can use to acquire new spells, and you can complete challenges to upgrade that type of magic. After defeating Scylla, Frey gains access to Silas's fire magic, which opens up new ways to traverse the world and bring the pain to the corrupted. Its execution, though, is not the exciting magic play that is to be expected. I know that in a previous video I made mention that sometimes button mashing is good as long as it is exciting, but in Forspoken, it is not. It all boils down to the trigger buttons. Press the right trigger for a light attack, hold it down to do one of 3 strong attacks that you can choose. The left trigger is to cast one of many support spells that Frey has at her disposal so long as she learns them, and holding both triggers will unleash a wide attack that deals a lot of damage, and it changes depending on the magic element Frey is using. The magic part of it has good variety, and I'll give this game credit for it. But since that's all it does, combat gets stale quick. Other games bring perfect blocking, perfect dodging, aerial combat, or items into the mix. However, this game lacks these things to such a strange degree, seeing as magic is the main form of combat in this world. I say this because the use of magic could have been used in a few creative ways that could have made combat fun, like conjuring up a shield using Cuff for perfect blocking, ensnaring enemies when pulling off a perfect dodge, or even crafting other concoctions for combat use like a miasma potion or the magical equivalent of a grenade. It was definitely a missed opportunity for the developers who worked on Final Fantasy XV to be more creative with this magic combat, but instead they just played it safe and just kept it bare bones. Overall, combat is functional and it has its fair share of variety, but it played a little too safe and it didn't do enough to make itself be memorable or even noticeable. There you have it. It's not worth it. Don't buy this game, and share this video with someone who is curious about it so they can change their mind into playing something better. I definitely will, and everyone knows what that is. But in the meantime, I am done with this travesty of a game. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe, share, click on that notification bell, and if you have any honest opinions of your own, please put them in the comment section below. But please don't be like Frey and start dropping F words. It's not really necessary. Well, regardless, stay safe and have a good day.